Terry's. Come on in. Today is Thirsty Thursday. And I hope my connection's working. I had a little spinny wheel saying trying to reconnect, so let's see what happens here. I see people, that's good. Always refreshing. You know, you do this day after day after day, and sometimes you just wonder, where is everyone? Cassie, it's so good to see you. And Gwen too. Jennifer, hello. Oh my goodness. Here comes Denise. Hello, Denise. You know, community is one of the most delightful things on the planet. Don't you agree? Gwen and Delilah and Simone, there she is. And Mariana brought her daughter. Fantastic. Hello, Pamela. Yolanda, you just got your order and my note? I just sent you another note, Yolanda, on your next order. Angie, Catherine, Lucy, yay! Hello, Rhonda. Good to see you. Melissa, hello. And Joanne, of course, is here. Faithful Joanne. Shara, hello. And Heather, hello. Good to see you. And Terry's here. Good to see all of you. Liz, hi. It's been a minute. Chuck, not Chuck, there's Yvonne. And Elizabeth's here. New today. Say hello to Elizabeth Ann, everyone. She's new today. We have a fabulous community, and we are so happy to welcome you in, Arla and Elizabeth. This is a beautiful community that you are welcomed into with open arms. And I hope you find a lot of people here, and I hope you are just I hope you light up when we get together, because you know, I'm going to tell you something. This whole subject of what I'm going to be talking about today has completely lit me up since Monday. And I want you to have patience with me and let me sort of build a case, if you will, of what we're going to be talking about, because I really believe that there is so many correlations to what we're going to be talking about and what we need to be working on together. My friend Kimberly is here. Dr. Kim, hello. Say hello, everyone, to everyone. Hi, Janet. If you're new, welcome. Even if you're not new, welcome. Oh, it's so nice. You know what is so, this is your therapy. This is my therapy, you know? Kristen, first time live from Jacksonville. Nice to meet you. Nice to have you here. Terry said, I've changed her life. My goodness, that's big stuff. Thank you. That's really, that's incredible. Thank you for that. Wow. We're here to change each other's lives. You know, we come in here for a reason, don't we? You know, and my goal is that everybody leaves with something actionable that they can do. It's not, you know, we don't need to be giving lip service to a bunch of feel-good stuff, do we? No. We need to be able to do something about our lives, our worlds, our communities. We need that. We need that desperately. And yes, we need to feel good. And I promise you, we're going to get together and we are going to feel good. We're doing that in an even smaller community on the Sprint. And that makes a big difference too. Laura, good morning from Washington. Thank you so much for joining us. Lots of new lovelies here. This is so fun. I really appreciate you joining us. Yeah, we are a community that we're concerned with each other. I think that's one of the things that makes a difference. And there are so many times where I think about, there's somebody I haven't heard from, and I will occasionally drop a note in the mail. I'm serious, I've done this. And you who have had my notes know that I do that, and not just with orders either. So I just, you know, this is an opportunity to build, to actually do. Hi, Joy, welcome. This is her first time. Great. We love you. We love that you're here. And you know what? We hang out together. We have a place to build community. Here is where we talk about things that we can do. In the Sprint is a place where we're actually doing something. We are not only building community, we're building ourselves up, we're building each other up. It's an incredible thing. And you know, I will tell you, since the beginning of time, when it comes to Facebook anyway, When they started opening up communities, I started creating them. In all of my communities that I have created, never has there been a community like the Sprint community, our Hot Melt Sprint community. It is unbelievable. We really move the needle in our lives, not just on the scale, but in our lives as well. And that is something that I want you guys to jump on. That's the thing that changes everything. So if you're not on the Sprint, you can find it. It's on savingdinner.com. Right when you land, you'll see it. Feel free to jump in if you want. It's free. And you'll see what I'm talking about, and you'll have your own good story to tell about it, right? Hello, Terry. Good to see you. Terry just had another eye surgery. Praying for you, Terry. I was thinking about you this morning, as a matter of fact. We have a quote of the week that I love, and you know me and my quotes. I'm just a quote fiend. And I find the things, when I see something, I look, and if it makes my heart jump a little, I'm thinking it's going to do the same thing for you. So here's our quote of the week. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. That's Maya Angelou. We love her. We absolutely love her. If you don't know her story, do yourself a favor and go look it up. I've already told it on Monday because she just so inspires me. And that's the whole thing. We do not need to be reduced by the things happening in this world or things that we're doing, even in our old world, our own worlds. When things come at us, and they do, that we have no control over, we have a choice and a decision to make at that point. We do not need to be reduced by them. Reduced means to be driven down. Reduced means to, if you're cooking, you know me, you've heard me cook before, it's to bring something down into half. Now that's good for a sauce. It's not good for a human. All right? Put that in your journal. You do not need to be reduced by any of this. It is a decision. It is a decision. How strong that makes you, right? I love that. Give me all the quotes. And I'm telling you, every single week, every Saturday, we introduce a new quote. This next week's quote's going to blow your mind too. And it has something to do with yesterday's show, by the way, Wise Women's Wednesday. See? Terry just said it. I will not be reduced. No, you will not. You know, that when we say these things, we are making proclamations about our lives. Don't you love that? A proclamation. You know, a proclamation is a declaration of where you stand on everything. And we will not be reduced. No, we're bigger than that. We have made the decision for ourselves, for our families, our loved ones, our friends, our communities. We've made a decision not to be reduced. So strong women, strong, wise women, we have work to do here. And I'm going to talk about this. If you are taking notes, and I know my friend Cassie is, she has lunch with me and takes notes. This is one to take notes with, because this is something that I'm hoping is going to stir your heart and create inside of you a huge desire, a burning desire to take action and to be a repairer of the breach. Okay? And this has all kinds of applications. So I want you to be listening to that because it's so crucial and so critical. We are in the middle of the sprint. We will never not have the sprint. We always have it, and you can jump in at any time. And just because we have started, what? Are we out?
We've got about 18 or 20 left.
Holy cow. Okay. I'll talk about that one. Gee whiz. And just because, you know, we were already into day 4 or whatever, doesn't really matter. You can jump in wherever you are. If you need to be held up, accountable, you need a community, you need support and encouragement, just jump in anyway, right? Hello, Vanessa. It makes all the difference in the world. So I cannot believe this, you guys, but you know, our beauty support ships free, right? I can't even, this is just mind-boggling. Mark just came in and interrupted me and held up a huge box, and he said, I just emptied the last box. Our beauty support is flying. is flying, and I am giving you until 7 p.m. tonight, which is 7 p.m. Eastern, which is when we're having our webinar, savingdinner.com/webinar. You will want to be there. If you want to know what's next, if you want to know how to get rid of the inflammation, if you want your life to be up-leveled that much, come to this webinar. It is absolutely free, and you get to hang out with some pretty incredible women. You know, I always know that when I go into this webinar that I'm going to leave it blessed, and you will too, and I want you there. But this is educational. It's going to give you 10 steps on how to do keto the right way, because there's a wrong way, and it's really inflammatory. We want you to do it the right way. So listen to me a minute here. So this is your sprint. This is what ships free, beauty support, ships free. When you order this, throw it in your cart. It will ship free if you put ships free in the promo window. But you know what I want to say about that? If you order 3, you will get 1 free. But we will run out today. We will run out today. So if you want this, get it. This is what I credit. I'm going to show you right here. Do you see these little baby hairs that are all sticking out? I had a great big gap where hair just kind of balding, and I was freaking out about it. What am I going to do about it? Well, that's what I did about it. 60 days later, all these little baby hairs started growing just from taking this supplement. It supports the collagen, and 97% of us have a deficit of collagen. And when you can get the collagen working on your behalf and you're supporting it, I mean, you know, everything, this is why we have all of these supplements. They all support one another. It's a matrix. We are building up a healthy body. That's what supplements do. They supplement a good, healthy diet. You know, sorry, that's a soapbox. So if you want to get in on these, put 3 in your cart. We will throw the 4th one in for free, and ships free is your thing. And if you are buying more than $200 worth, guess what? We'll send you a mindful mug too. And I will send you this cute little card that says, I have a little something for you. Hi, Kimberly. Good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming by. Ladies, we're on fire today. I'm on fire today. So I'm gonna start the fire. You know, I keep thinking about that Billy Joel song, We Didn't Start the Fire. I'm starting a fire right now. I want you to take notes. I want you to be present with this, and I want you to see what God is going to do in your heart when you hear this stuff. Because this has just been stirring me up. Marla and I were texting back and forth all about it this morning. And she kept saying, yep, you go, you know. We are encouragers of one another. Friday's Q&A, don't forget about that. And send in an email to support@savingdinner.com. And in the subject line, say, question for Leanne on Friday. I've missed you too, Kimberly. I'm glad you're here. You know, when I don't see you, I wonder where you went. There's a couple of you that popped back, and I reach out to you and say, I'm glad to see you again. We need each other. Can we just all agree we need each other? It is good to be in a place where the women care and love you. You want to be cared for, you want to be listened to, you want to be heard, and you also want to put down some stuff in somebody's life and say, you know what? I need you for this. I need you for that. Right now, Maggie is talking about something she needs some prayer for. What is it? Her daughter was having heart palpitations, only 20 years old. Guess what, Maggie? You've got prayer warriors all over this right now. Do you hear that? That's support. That's love. That's encouragement. And I'm going to tell you what, in my circle, if you're not like that, you don't last very long, because that's what we do. You know, we're present in each other's lives. Do you like that? Being present. I hate that people just, they want you in, you get your money, they do all these things, and all of a sudden they're gone. There's no connection. We want to connect. That's the deficit. That's the missing piece. Connection. Without connection, we fall apart. Without connection, we're isolated. Not just socially isolated or whatever. We're isolated from love, from this thing that we have inside. Do you get that? I get that so much, and it crushes my spirit. But when we connect and we reach out to each other and all of that, it is amazing what happens. Our lives change. Yeah, online. And wouldn't it be great to all get together? We've got a thing coming up in September, and I am hoping and praying that it's going to happen, that we are going to have the green light to do all of this but we'll tell you more about that as we get on. So yesterday we were talking about how we argue for our limitations, right? We argue for our limitations. And what we have discovered is that there is something else that we can do instead of arguing for our limitations. We can start looking for the possibilities of creation in our lives instead. We can redirect that energy. So today I want to talk about changing the conversation when it comes to things that are going on in this world today, because we're all thinking about that, right? We're all thinking about that. We want to change the conversation, and this is applicable for what's going on in the world. It's applicable for your life. It's applicable for your family and your friends. It's applicable for how you conduct yourself, and I consider this one of the greatest needs that we all have, and I think it's self-care, and that's to be a repairer of the breach. So think about a breech birth for a minute. How many here were told, oh, this is a breech birth, and what do they say to you? We want that baby to turn. And they work on you, and I didn't have this happen to me, but I've had some girlfriends who had, were concerned about a breech birth, and the doctor says we don't want that breech. Now, I know it's, spelt differently, but just for context, just work with me on this, okay? So what do we do with a breech birth? We don't want that baby to come feet first. We want it to come head first, right? So we want that baby to turn. And with breech, the word breech means, and thinking about a breaching whale, why does a whale come up out of the water like that? Well, they concern themselves with that, and they think that possibly the reason that this happens is because the whale is warning other whales about something coming on, or is trying to communicate in some way, or maybe it's just getting some exercise. But whales come up, when they come up out of the water, it's considered a breach because they're usually under the water. So here's what breach means. It's a gap. If it's a noun, it's a gap, it's a break, it's an opening, rupture, split, and tear. It's alienation. It's a schism. But if it's a verb, it's a violation. And it's creating the gap. Creating the gap. So if we are repairers of this tear, of this rip, of this schism, what does that mean exactly? How do we do that? Now here's the Bible verse. This is what's stuck in my head since Sunday night. And I woke up with it. Those among you shall build the old waste places. You shall rise up the foundations of many generations. Do you hear that? Many generations. And you shall be called repairers of the breach, the restorer of the streets to dwell in. I'm sorry, but that just gave me chills. That's from Isaiah 58:12. It gave me chills. Restorer of the streets. So how do we become these women, these repairers of the breach? Marla and I believe with all of our hearts that it is the women who are going to move the tide. It is the women who are the mothers. It is, and listen, when I say women who are the mothers, we're all mothers. We all have within our DNA this mothering instinct, all of us. So whether or not you've had a child or not, you are a mother. And you have an instinct that is deep within you to repair, to make whole, and to create newness and strength. You have that. Maggie says peacemakers full of love and compassion. That's what repairing does. That's the result of repair. The result of repair is that peace, the fear of, like a dam being breached, that there's a crack in it, or when it's repaired, there's no more fear. The fear is gone. The fear is gone. So there's 3 things we need to look at, really 4, and that is acknowledging what the heck is going on. Why is this happening? Well, there's a history. We know that. And without getting into gross detail, there's a whole, and I don't mean gross as in yuck, as in, I just mean lots and lots of detail. There's lots to learn and to become educated on what the heck is going on here. Why is this the state that it is? Why is this one issue over here and one issue over there? How do we build? How do we build and repair that breach? We have to look at what it is. We have to acknowledge that this exists. We can't brush it aside. Let me ask you this. In your life, when you've had when you've had any kind of when you've had any kind of a breakdown in a relationship, by not acknowledging it, has it ever helped? Have you ever been able to get beyond that? Or is it just stacked up in a whole bunch of resentment in the back of your head? Think about that. We all know what a breakdown in relationship looks like. And this is what happens to us when we are too afraid to voice what the acknowledgement should be. We always need to acknowledge exactly what's going on here so that we can go to the next step, which is to apologize. Now, apologies are a funny thing. Apologies are not, oh, I'm sorry, gee, that's just rough, and then on to the next thing. I'm sorry is just, that's a stubbing your toe or you accidentally bumped into somebody. But seeking and asking for forgiveness is building and creating a repair to the breach. I'm going to tell you a story of what happened to me in Charlotte, North Carolina, when I first moved here back in the 90s. So Charlotte was pretty much not on fire, but there were continual things happening in fires on traditionally black churches. They were being lit on fire on purpose, of course. And I remember waking up almost out of breath and so upset about this. And I said, what needs to change is that the black churches and the white churches need to get together and seek forgiveness. I felt so strongly about this. I was crying about it. I could barely function. And I felt like God had really called me to this. And I'm thinking, how can I do this? I'm just this mom of 2 little kids. I had a kindergartner and a kid in preschool. I can't do anything. So this is my audacity, which is number 4. I haven't even gotten to that, but this is my audacity. I picked up the phone and I called the editor of the religion column in the Charlotte Observer, and I got him on the phone. And I said, I'll tell you exactly what the problem is. Who do I think I am? And I said, the problem is that we are segregated in our churches. The problem is that we haven't learned about each other. The problem is that we don't love one another. And the sin of the South is segregation. And I said it. I said, and I should know because I came from the sin of rich and greedy. Southern California, Newport Beach to be exact. Very white bread, very rich, very whatever. And it was like all you can handle. And then coming here to North Carolina was just like, wow, this is different. And I could feel the segregation. I could feel what was going on, even though, this is the 90s. This is 30 something years past the civil rights, but it didn't matter. You could feel it. It was there. It was there. And then those fires proved my point. And I had the audacity to get on the phone, this dumb woman from Southern California who knew nothing about anything that was going on here, except that it was wrong. It was wrong, and I wanted to be a repairer of the breach. And so this religion editor said to me, so what do we do? And I said, I'll tell you what to do. Can you believe this? Audacity for days, ladies. Audacity for days. I said, I'll tell you exactly what to do. You need to hold a service, a reconciliation service. And the black churches and the white churches need to come together and recognize that we are one in Jesus Christ and that this is not tolerated. Seek forgiveness. Seek true reconciliation, repentance and forgiveness. This is nothing that I have done. This is nothing that, anybody in my world that I know of had done. But this is a sin that goes way back. The sin of our fathers. If you want to read about that, get into the Old Testament. You'll read about it. It goes on and on for generation after generation. So they did it. And I don't know if it was me or whatever, but it happened. I got an invitation. It was at First Baptist downtown in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I went there shaking, worried. I'd never, here I am, I'd never been in a culturally rich environment where there was black and white and brown people everywhere. I thought it was fantastic, but it was new to me. I'll admit it. I came from a predominantly white bread community, and everywhere I was, it was white. But I knew that we're all the same. We're all the same. Underneath it all, there's we all have beating hearts and lungs. We have families. We have love. We have compassion. We can think. Why is this breach here? That much I knew. So I walked into this church and I sat down. I was all by myself, and the singing was amazing. Everything about it was amazing. And the whole time I was just sobbing in tears because I could feel a movement. I could feel things changing. And then the pastor gets up in the pulpit and he talks and he said, "It's time for reconciliation." And he said, "You didn't do it. I didn't do it. We didn't do it." And he went through the whole thing, and he told the story of how we were so separated. And he said, "You want to see segregation on a Sunday? Go to church in Charlotte. You'll see segregation." And that just, of course, brought me to my knees, and I thought, wow, here we are. How do we bridge that? And he said, it's time to ask forgiveness. So sitting next to me, or in front of me, I think it was in front of me, this is a woman with 2 little children. I went purposely alone because I didn't want to have to wrangle my own children. I was fortunate enough to be able to do it. And I tapped this woman on the shoulder and I said, this is when we were doing it. It's almost like, how at church you greet each other and you say, you just, however it is that you greet each other. Peace of the Lord. That's how we used to do it in the Episcopal Church. Peace of the Lord be with you. And I said to this woman, I said, I'm so deeply sorry for what you've been through. And she just looked at me and her bottom lip started to quiver and she fell into my arms and sobbed. And I will never, ever be the same since then. God calls the mothers to repair the breach. Do you see that? Me and I had no power. I had no money. I had 2 little kids that I was trying to raise. I had nothing, but I had audacity. And I made the phone call, right? That's our call. That's our call. That's on every single one of you. That's your responsibility to your community to be a voice. We need to acknowledge it. We need to apologize for it. We need to act. And we need to have the audacity to move forward. That woman wept in my arms for minutes. And her little boys were looking at me and they were holding on to their mama and I put my arms around them and we just sat there in just a big puddle for a long, long time. And this is taking me back to what it was. It is the same today. It hasn't changed. This is the kind of thing though that we need in our lives too. If you're not speaking up in your life, you're losing your opportunity to have this, to be a repair of any kind of breach in your life, whether it's a relationship with someone, a relationship with yourself, and a relationship on a much bigger scale. We cannot shut down. We cannot pretend this doesn't exist. We cannot stop being loving, incredible human beings, because that's who we all are. Black lives do matter, and that is not an awful thing to say. That is not a political divide. It's saying that Jesus said he's going to go find the lost sheep. That's what's happening right now. It isn't that he doesn't care for all the other sheep. He cares about the one that's lost. That's where we are. Do you get that? That's where we are. Let's care about the lost sheep. Let's love like we've never loved before, because you're being called to it. I am being called to it. We're being called to a much higher level, and it's the mothers of this world that are going to change everything. Everything. George Floyd called out to his mother, and I think George Floyd is calling out to you and to me right now to be repairers of the breach. We can be those women. You understand that? We can be those women. We cannot be silent. We have to be strong. We have to understand that our voices matter, and we have to have the audacity to make that call, to make that phone call, to call a friend, to be in community, to never stop, because that's what mothers do. Do you ever give up on your kids? I never gave up on my son when he went out and did drugs, and when he did all kinds of things that I was just absolutely abhorrently upset about. I never gave up on him. I prayed for him. I was on my knees, and my God, women, if we give up on the people in our community, we don't deserve the tender love and everything that we need in our lives. We don't deserve it. We have to be these women. And I'm calling you right now. I'm calling every single one of you to be the women, to repair the breach. Repair it. You know exactly what to do. God will stir your heart. I love the word audacity. Be audacious. Be audacious, because we have this calling on our lives. It is in your DNA. I don't care if you've never given birth. I don't care if you've never even wanted to mother a child. It's in your DNA. You know exactly what to do. The mothers of this world, the women of this world, are going to change it. Marla shared this incredible story of this mama who was in getting her oil changed, and a cop came in. He was getting his oil changed, and she was with her 16-year-old son who just got his driver's license. Now, she was black, he was white, and she said the mother, started the conversation. Do you see that? Audacity. She started the conversation, and she said, "What do I do to keep my son safe?" And they had a conversation. They had a conversation that changed the whole dynamic. Because I want with all my heart, I want us to all be able to walk into rooms and understand, if something needs to be changed, then we change it. If something needs to be done, then we do it. If something needs to be said, we say it, because we're audacious, we're wise, and we are the women who are going to change the world. Let's be that. Peace. I wish you all peace. I wish you all love, and I wish you all audacity to go out there and to do the right thing. Love you guys.